If I could hand you the one secret that decides whether you succeed or fail in every dream you dare to dream, would you listen? That secret is not luck, not talent, not money. It is something you already possess, but few ever master. Effort. And tonight I will show you how effort, directed and unbreakable, can build your destiny. Can I hand you the one secret that decides whether you succeed or fail in every dream you dare to dream? Would you listen? That secret is not luck, not talent, not money. It is something you already possess, but few ever master. Effort. Effort is the hinge on which every door to opportunity swings open. Tonight, I invite you to walk through that door with me. Stay with me till the end, and you will leave here armed with the simplest yet most powerful weapon for success, the ability to choose your results by mastering your effort. Dreams are the visions that live inside the mind, rich in hope and possibility, but without effort, they remain nothing more than fantasies, weightless and without substance. Effort is the critical bridge that transforms a vague desire into a concrete achievement. Consider the example of an aspiring writer who dreams of publishing a novel. In the beginning, the idea burns brightly within their imagination. Characters, worlds, and dialogue seem to dance in vivid colors. But without the discipline to sit down each day, to wrestle with the blank page, to edit relentlessly through rejection and self-doubt, that dream will never materialize. Thousands dream of being authors. Only those who put pen to paper day after day, even when inspiration fails them, ever see their name printed on a book cover. The same truth applies across every human endeavor. A young athlete may dream of Olympic gold, feeling the rush of victory in their veins, envisioning themselves standing on the podium. Yet unless they rise before dawn, submit themselves to grueling training sessions, endure the monotony of drills, failures, injuries, and sacrifice comforts, that dream will never cross into reality. Dreams are essential. They give life color and direction. But they are powerless without the repeated application of effort, which lays each plank of the bridge from the unseen to the seen. Even the most towering success stories, when examined closely, are not tales of easy victories, but of individuals who decided to grind forward, inch by inch, no matter the obstacles. Effort breathed life into a dream, transforming it from a mere wish into a tangible pursuit. A student who dreams of becoming a doctor must embrace years of tireless study, missed social gatherings, endless exams, and the mental discipline to continue even when failures loom large. Each hour spent studying anatomy, each late night spent memorizing formulas, each practical session mastered, these are the steps along the bridge. Without them, the dream fades into dust. It is not enough to simply want. It is in the daily doing that one builds the path across the gulf between what is imagined and what is achieved. Talent, while often celebrated and admired, is merely potential energy until it is harnessed through sustained effort. It is an invisible promise, not a guarantee. Without the relentless discipline to sharpen, refine, and express that talent consistently over time, it remains hidden, like a beautiful symphony never played, a masterpiece never painted, a breakthrough invention never built. Consider the gifted musician who from an early age displays extraordinary ability, a natural ear for music, effortless command of instruments, a creative intuition that astonishes anyone who hears them. In childhood, their talent draws praise and admiration. But if that musician fails to practice diligently, fails to study the theory, fails to stretch beyond their comfort zone and push through the arduous plateaus that every artist encounters, their gift withers. They may find themselves years later watching others who were less naturally talented but more persistent achieve the success they once thought was destined for them. The stage remains empty of their music, not because they lacked the spark, but because they neglected the fuel that could have kept it burning. The same pattern repeats itself in countless fields. A young entrepreneur may possess a natural instinct for spotting opportunities, a mind brimming with innovative ideas, yet without the steady application of hard work, building networks, studying markets, refining business strategies, enduring the inevitable failures and setbacks, Their ideas remain unlaunched, their visions forgotten. Talent can open the first door, but it is effort that keeps one walking through the endless corridors beyond. Even in the realm of sports, history is crowded with prodigies who dazzled at a young age, but faded from view because they mistook early talent for lasting success. Natural ability made them stars for a moment, but without grueling, day in, day out effort to train harder, think sharper, and strengthen their weaknesses, their brilliance dimmed until it was barely a memory. Talent may set someone apart briefly, but without effort it becomes a silent monument to what might have been. The life each person lives is not simply the product of their circumstances, nor solely of their dreams, but fundamentally the result of the effort they invest every single day. It is not the rare moments of inspiration that shape destiny. It is the steady, sometimes unseen application of willpower and action that builds the life one ultimately experiences. If an individual commits to consistently putting forth high-quality effort, meaning deliberate, focused, intelligent work, the results accumulate over time in ways that are almost invisible in the beginning, but profound in the long run. Take, for instance, a young professional entering the workforce. Two people may start at the same position with identical qualifications, but the one who treats every task, no matter how small, with excellence and pride, soon begins to separate from the one who only exerts effort when someone is watching. The one who improves their skills, seeks mentorship, accepts criticism, and pushes to solve problems beyond their immediate responsibilities, plants seeds that eventually blossom into promotions, greater respect, and increased opportunities. Meanwhile, the one who works inconsistently, who gives partial effort when motivated but coasts otherwise, finds that life seems to resist them at every turn. The same principle can be seen in health and fitness. Must transform. If a person who commits to daily exercise, mindful eating, and continual education about their body's needs, even if each individual workout or meal seems insignificant, experiences a transformation not just in their physical appearance, but in their energy levels, confidence, and resilience. Their quality of life becomes richer, not because of any single Herculean effort, but because of the sustained daily choice to give their best to their own well-being. Relationships follow the same rule. Marriages, friendships, and family bonds that thrive are not those built on grand gestures, but on the consistent effort to communicate, to show appreciation, to resolve conflict with patience and care. A person who brings high-quality effort into how they treat others naturally attracts stronger, deeper connections, while those who neglect the small daily investments in their relationships often find themselves isolated and misunderstood. Across career, health, relationships, and personal fulfillment, the thread that connects all thriving lives is not raw talent or occasional passion, but the steady, committed application of meaningful effort. Failure, though often feared and misunderstood, is not the final verdict on one's dreams or abilities. It is a messenger carrying vital information about what must be corrected, improved, or reimagined. When a person encounters failure, it is not a signal to retreat, but an invitation to learn. Yet the mere presence of feedback does not automatically lead to success. Only through sustained, intelligent effort can feedback be transformed into a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. Take, for example, the story of Thomas Edison during his quest to invent the electric light bulb. It is said he conducted over 1,000 failed experiments before finding a material that could burn long enough to be practical. Each failed attempt revealed a new piece of information about what materials would not work, about the behavior of electricity, about the limits of the technology at the time. Had Edison interpreted these failures as personal defeats and abandoned his mission, the world might have waited decades longer for such a vital invention. Instead, he viewed each failure as necessary data, and through relentless effort, he synthesized those lessons into eventual triumph. Similarly, consider the case of an entrepreneur who launches a business that quickly collapses under financial strain. The collapse itself is not the true failure. The true failure would be to walk away without examining what went wrong. Perhaps misjudged market demand, poor cash flow management or weak leadership structure. If the entrepreneur uses the failure as feedback, studies it, and then applies sustained effort to build a stronger, wiser second venture, the initial collapse becomes merely the first chapter of a much larger success story. In sports, too, failure delivers critical insights. A missed shot reveals a weakness in technique. A lost match exposes gaps in strategy or stamina. The athlete who accepts these losses not as insults to their worth, but as instructions for improvement and then applies consistent effort to correct those flaws, eventually rises to mastery. Without effort, feedback remains dormant like seeds left unplanted. It is only when someone acts upon what they have learned, persists through discouragement, and adapts their methods that failure transforms from an obstacle into the very foundation of future victory. Desire is the spark that ignites ambition, but without the continual fuel of effort, that spark quickly fizzles into nothing more than a fleeting wish. When deep, burning desire is paired with relentless action, however, something extraordinary happens. Momentum is created, a force so powerful that it propels a person forward, even through resistance, setbacks, and fatigue. Momentum born from desire and effort has a self-reinforcing quality. Every small success fuels greater confidence, every obstacle overcome strengthens resilience, and each disciplined step forward compounds into a force that becomes difficult to stop. Take, for instance, the story of a young artist who dreams of having their work displayed in prestigious galleries. Initially, their desire burns brightly, but they soon realize that desire alone does not translate into recognition. They commit to a rigorous schedule, creating new pieces daily, refining their technique, seeking feedback, studying other masters, and persistently submitting their work to exhibitions, often facing rejection after rejection. Over time, each completed artwork, each improved skill, each lesson learned from rejection builds momentum. Eventually, their name becomes known, not because they simply wished it so, but because the energy of their consistent effort created a growing reputation that opened doors once closed to them. The same principle applies to athletes. A runner who dreams of competing professionally may start with passion, but it is their daily training, the miles run in rain and cold, the strength built in endless drills, the endurance forged in pushing past physical pain, that creates a momentum carrying them closer to victory. The desire provides the emotional engine, but only the sustained effort turns that raw emotional power into forward movement. In business, an entrepreneur with a fierce desire to create change must match that fire with relentless execution. Late nights refining a business model, countless meetings with investors, endless hours solving customer problems. As each milestone is reached, the effort begins to pay exponential dividends, and opportunities start to come faster, problems are solved quicker, and success starts to feel inevitable. Momentum becomes their ally, pushing them forward with a speed and strength that those who rely on wishful thinking alone can never achieve. Mastery of effort is the ultimate form of self-mastery, for it is effort that dictates the course of a person's life more than any external circumstance, talent, or luck ever could. The true architect of one's fate is not the winds of fortune or the whims of others, but the individual who consistently applies deliberate, focused effort in the direction of their dreams. The ability to harness effort is what separates those who live at the mercy of life's random events from those who carve out their own path, regardless of the challenges they encounter. Take the example of someone who grows up in a disadvantaged neighborhood, surrounded by obstacles that seem insurmountable. They may have fewer resources, less support, and an environment that seems to offer little opportunity. But if this individual chooses to master effort, waking up every morning with determination, relentlessly studying and learning, seeking mentors, taking every small opportunity and turning it into something more, they begin to create their own fate. Over time, their choices, fueled by consistent and focused effort, lead them to success, often surprising even those who doubted them. It is not because life was easy for them, but because they understood that the only thing within their control was their own effort. Consider a famous inventor like Steve Jobs, who revolutionized the technology industry. Jobs did not rely on an effortless streak of brilliance alone. Instead, he invested untold hours in perfecting his craft, assembling a team of talented individuals, and overcoming countless failures and setbacks. Each obstacle he encountered became an opportunity to apply more effort, to dig deeper, to improve and refine his vision. He mastered the art of consistent effort, and in doing so, he created a legacy that shaped the future of the tech world. Similarly, athletes like Serena Williams demonstrate this principle in the most visible way. Despite facing fierce competition, injuries, and setbacks, she continually put in the hours on the court, consistently working to improve her game, honing every shot, mastering her mental toughness, and overcoming physical limits. Through this mastery of effort, she has not only achieved incredible success in her sport, but she has also carved out her own destiny, defining what is possible in the world of professional tennis. Mastery of effort means recognizing that success is not a matter of waiting for the right circumstances, but rather taking control and making those circumstances work in one's favor through relentless action. People who understand this principle realize that, no matter where they start in life, they have the power to shape their future through the discipline of daily, intentional effort. Before you leave here tonight, remember this: the distance between you and your highest potential is not measured in miles. It is measured in effort. Effort is the seed, the soil, the sun, and the water. Plant it daily, and one day you will reap a harvest so rich that the world itself must stop and marvel. Effort is everything. The rest is just details.